Alright, students, the next chapter which we are going to revise is the chapter of assessment. Sir, can you give us a quick linking? Everyone, listen to me very carefully. You went ahead and filed your return. Your job is done now. You went ahead and filed your return. Your job is done. Now the job comes is of the department, where the department will go ahead and start assessments. Everyone, listen to me very carefully. Assessment, when we are going to learn, what do you mean by assessment, sir? Assessment means determination of tax liability. And always remember, assessments in GST are of various types. Section number 59 ka assessment, which is self-assessment. Sir, I should myself assess my tax liability, pay the tax and file my return under section number 39. Then we have section number 60, which talks about provisional assessment. Provisional assessment, sir, first of all, always remember, provisional assessment can't be done by the proper officer suo motu. You have to apply for provisional assessment. So if I am a taxable person, provisional assessment can be applied by whom? Registered person or taxable person? Taxable person. And I am unable to determine the value of supply or rate of tax. It means I am not able to determine my GST liability. Then I can go ahead and request the officer in GST ASMT 01 to go ahead and do the provisional assessment and tell me, sir, what is the amount of tax I should pay provisionally. Then they will go ahead and pass an order in GST SMT 04. They will go ahead and allow you to, within 90 days, allowing you for payment on provisional value, provisional basis at such rate and such value. You please go ahead and make the tax ka payment. But before going ahead and allowing you to make a provisional payment, they will go ahead and tell you, sir, you please go ahead and give a bond along with a bank guarantee, which is 25% of the amount of the bond. Okay, sir. Bond is given in ASMT 05. Okay, sir. Once the provisional assessment order is given, from the date of communication of the provisional assessment order, within the next 6 months, final assessment order in GST ASMT 07 shall be given to you. But sir, if within six months, if they could not go ahead and pass the final assessment order, then further extension can be done by AC or JC for a further period of 6 months. If they could not go ahead and within the next 6 months, if they could not go ahead and pass the order, then commissioner can go ahead and further extend the time limit by 4 years. Okay, sir. Sir, final assessment order came. Final assessment amount is greater than provisional assessment amount. Then Baba, please pay the differential along with interest at the rate of 18% from the due date till the date of payment. Sir, for final assessment is less than provisional assessment, then you will get a refund, but refund is under section number 56. So be careful. First you apply, within 60 days they will give you. If they can't give within 60 days the refund, then from the 61st day they will go ahead and give you interest at the rate of 6%. RFD01 is the refund application to be filed. Always remember, once you go ahead and pay the differential, whatever is payable, file an application for release of security in ASMT 08. They will go ahead, PO will go ahead and ensure, he will check whether you have gone ahead and made all the payments, etc. And he will release the security, he will go ahead and release the security after ensuring that you have gone, and he will release the security after ensuring that you have made the payment, and he will issue an order ASMT 9 within 7 days of receipt of the application. What is the benefit of provisional assessment? The benefit of provisional assessment is no penalties in if any short payment is done. Means if finalization may the amount comes more, you don't have to pay any penalty. My very important for exam is this interest calculation in case of refund and interest calculation in case you have to pay any extra amount. This is very important for exam. Okay, sir, point is clear. Section number 61 talks about scrutiny of return. You file the return. Officer will scrutinize your return to check if there is any discrepancy. So PO mandatory does not have to go ahead and scrutinize. PO may scrutinize your return to go ahead and find out if there is any mistake. If he goes ahead and finds any discrepancy, he will go ahead and tell you in ASMT 10, and he will tell you please go ahead and make the correction. Registered person within 30 days accepts the discrepancy, pays the tax interest penalty and informs the officer in GST DRC 03, chapter closed. Sir, I did not go ahead and accept the discrepancy, but I gave my explanation in ASMT 11. Now, if they like it, they will go ahead and inform me in ASMT 12 that, sir, we are going ahead and closing we are not going to take any further action. Sir, but if the officer does not like my reply, not satisfactory, or after accepting the discrepancy, fails to take corrective measure. After he has gone ahead and accepted the discrepancy, means I have gone ahead and accepted the discrepancy, but I failed to take the corrective measure, then PO will get angry over here. And what are the various recourses which are available to the proper officer? Proper officer will go ahead and initiate action, which is audit, special audit, inspection, search, seizure, and using all the evidences gathered, he will go ahead and raise a demand order under section number 73 or 74. Yes, sir. Your question in the exam: what are the various recourses available to the officer in case proper explanation is not furnished? In case proper explanation is not furnished, officer will get angry. He will do audit, special audit, inspection, search, seizure, gather additional evidences, and then he will raise a demand order on me. Then we have best judgment. Best judgment can be of non-filer of return. Best judgment of non-filer of return means I am a registered person, but I have not filed my return under section number 39 or 45. Section number 39 is the monthly return. Section number 45 is the final return, buy return. Then first of all, I'll be given a notice. Even after getting the notice that I should go ahead and file my return within 15 days, I still did not go ahead and file. Then proper officer will go ahead and do the best judgment, and he will issue an assessment order within 5 years of the due date of annual return in ASMT 13. He will go ahead and give me an assessment order. Now I received the assessment order. Run, Baba, run. Within 30 days, if you go ahead and pay the tax and file your return, basically if you are filing a valid return in which you are paying the tax and filing the return, then within 30 days, if you have done it, then the assessment order shall be deemed to be withdrawn. Always remember, when you filed your return, you just paid your tax. Interest and late fee liability still will continue. You have to pay it. Okay, sir, point is clear. Now, everyone over here, one standard operating procedure has been launched in case of non-filers of return under section number 62. So, whenever officers are acting in different manner, CBIC goes ahead and issues standard operating procedures for its officers, and SOPs has been issued for its officer to go ahead and act in a uniform manner. So the standard operating procedure says the officers please go ahead and send one system generated SMS 3 days prior to the due date to all the registered persons. So all the registered person go first 3 days prior to the due date of return, one notice will go. One, not notice, basically one system generated SMS will go, wake up, Baba, jago, you have to go ahead and file your return. Wake up, everyone. Now they will wake you up and you should go ahead and file the return. Now once the due date is gone, post due date, immediately whoever are the non-filers, they will get one SMS or email that you have not filed your return, please file your return. Now if they file the return, very good. Otherwise, post 5 days, notice under section number 46 will be sent to all the non-filers to go ahead and file the return within 15 days. If you file the return within 15 days, then very good. If you don't file the return, then PO to proceed to do the best judgment if return is not filed within 15 days, and he will issue ASMT 13. Sir, always remember, when the PO is doing the best judgment, he will use GSTR 1, GSTR 2A, e-way bail, and the other informations which are available. Sir, always remember, best judgment assessment can be withdrawn if valid return is filed within 30 days of the order. PO does the best judgment. If you go ahead and file a valid return within 30 days of the order, best judgment assessment order withdrawn. Okay, sir. Always remember one thing, commissioner can also go ahead and resort to provisional attachment if he feels that when the best judgment assessment is going, you might go ahead and withdraw your money from the bank account and you might run away. They can go ahead and resort to provisional attachment also. And if you have not filed your return, non-filer, right? If you have not filed your return for 6 months, commissioner can go ahead and also, basically the proper officer can go ahead and also resort to cancellation of registration under section number 29 subsection 2. These are the cases. Section number 29(2) goes ahead and tells when the proper officer can go ahead and cancel your registration. This is just for your knowledge, I put over here. Next, sir, section number 63 goes ahead and talks about best judgment of unregistered person. Best judgment of unregistered person. So if you are a taxable person who has failed to obtain registration, or registration is cancelled under section number 29(2), but you are still liable to pay the tax, then first of all, the proper officer will go ahead and issue you a show cause notice in ASMT 14, and he will state the ground for assessment, and you have to go ahead and reply within 15 days. Now, once the show cause notice comes, you have to reply, and then they will go ahead and pass the assessment order. If he likes your reply, then he will chapter close. But if he doesn't like your reply, then PO to proceed to assess the tax liability of the person to the best of his judgment. After providing an opportunity of being heard, they will pass ASMT 15 May assessment order within 15 years, within 5 years, within 5 years. Always remember, everyone. Now, remember always, there is no withdrawal of an assessment order which is passed under section number 63. So basically, they will give you show cause notice, opportunity of being heard, then the assessment order, which is best judgment assessment order, is passed. Section number 64 talks about summary assessment. What is summary assessment? Proper officer has evidence that there is a tax liability. Proper officer will go and take the permission of the additional commissioner or joint commissioner, and now he will go ahead and assess the tax liability of such person to protect the interest of the revenue, and assessment order in ASMT 16 will be issued if he has sufficient ground to believe that any delay may adversely affect the interest of the revenue. Sir, summary assessment which is being done, summary assessment is always done in what case, everyone? Summary assessment is always done of such person. Such person means what, sir? Summary assessment can be done of a transporter, owner of a warehouse, person in charge, in case where the taxable person is not traceable. So, for an example, the proper officer could not go ahead and trace me. One transporter was taking the goods and going. He is being caught on the way. Proper officer asked whose goods it is. Warehouse keeper, he is keeping the goods. Proper officer went and asked whose goods they are. They are telling we don't know. Then the proper officer under section number 64 has the power to go ahead and do the assessment of those transporter, owner, operator of warehouse, and the assessment of such person will be done. That is known as summary assessment. Now, can the assessment order under section number 64 be withdrawn? Always remember, under section number 64, the summary assessment order which is being passed by the proper officer can also be withdrawn in two scenario. Sir, transporter you went ahead and did the summary assessment. Transporter will go and running to the taxable person and say, see sir, see, assessment order given to me, what to do? So the taxable person can go ahead and file an application. On an application by the taxable person, within 30 days of receipt of order, the assessment order can be withdrawn. Under section number 64, the summary assessment order passed can be withdrawn, or the ACJC, if they consider the order has been passed erroneously on their own motion, also they can go ahead and withdraw the assessment order. For your exam, always remember, what are the orders that can be withdrawn? Best judgment assessment order under section number 62 and summary assessment order under section number 64 can be withdrawn. Okay, sir, point is clear. One more point over here. One notification was issued which went ahead and told the summary of the assessment orders which are passed under 62, 63, 64 shall always be uploaded online electronically in GST DRC 07. Now, this chapter which I feel is a B graded chapter, everyone. It's a B graded chapter, but one question of 4 to 6 mark is generally asked out of the chapter. Sir, what are the questions which are being asked? Provisional assessment related questions are being asked. Scrutiny related, write a short note on scrutiny. They can go ahead and ask you a question. What are the various recourses available to the officer? They can go ahead and ask you. Best judgment of non-filer, they can go ahead and ask you to write a short note. Summary assessment, they can go ahead and ask you to write a short note. They can go ahead and tell you what are the assessment order that can be withdrawn. You can go ahead and tell what are the assessment order that can be withdrawn. Sir, standard operating procedure, they can go ahead and ask you a small question. Here, we are done with our chapter of assessments, everyone.